So some persons mistake PreP with PEP. PreP and PEP are not the same. Now you need to understand that PreP is before exposure to HIV, while PEP is post, like after exposure. Now PreP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, is a medication that you take before you come in contact with HIV. So you don't need to come in contact with HIV first before you take this medication. Now, people that have multiple sexual partners are at high risk and they should be on PreP medication. PreP medication is majorly for people that are HIV negative, not people that are HIV positive. So if you are HIV positive, or maybe you come in contact with the virus, you don't have any reason of taking PreP. What you should take is PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis. Now, for the post-exposure prophylaxis, is the medication you take within 72 hours after exposure to HIV. When you come in contact with the virus, you should take it within 72 hours before exposure. Now, for PreP, you'll be asking, can PreP be taken daily? Yes, you can take PreP daily. In fact, if you take PreP consistently and you are consistent with the drugs, you take it consistently daily, and you don't like skip, you have 90% of chance of maybe not like maybe you have 90% of chance of not having this infection, which is HIV, because what's happened is that the medication is already in your body building immunity. Because one thing about HIV is that once it enters your body, it multiplies, it starts multiplying. But when you're already on this drug, this PreP, the medication is already there, the immunity is already there already. So when you come in contact with this virus, it blocks it from multiplying. It blocks, because one thing about HIV, once it enters your body, it starts multiplying. Although it takes some time, you understand, it takes some time to multiply. It doesn't multiply just immediately. So when you're already on PreP medication, this pre-exposure prophylaxis, the medication is already there, so your body is already immune, so it builds immunity. So when you come in contact with this virus, it blocks it immediately, it stops it from multiplying, from increasing. Why for post-exposure prophylaxis, is a medication you take when you come in contact with the virus. Maybe when you have unprotected sex with someone that you are sure of that this person might have HIV, or you have a needle prick, someone or such a sharp object prick you, and needle prick with someone, maybe sharp a what they call it, sharp of blade, you are not sure, you have to go on post exposure prophylaxis. And some people mistake these drugs, that they believe that you can just take it once. No, it's not taking once. It's a medication you take for full 28 days. You take the medication for full 28 days. So some persons, when they meet their partners, maybe someone they are not too sure of, or someone they might think that have it, and they might just take one or two doses and they feel that it's like that. It's not like that. Some of them will even take PreP thinking that it's PEP. They mistake these two, which is not good. If maybe you are not sure of that partner, that one is understandable, and maybe you're already on that medication already. If you're already on that medication taking PreP, then if maybe you meet someone that you are not sure, you are already sure that since you're consistent with the drugs, these drugs has been on your body since, and you have been taking this PreP regularly, consistently, have 90% chance of not having it, you understand. But when you come in contact with the virus and you just take PreP, you take it 1 or 2 days, you just take 2 or 2 tablets and you just throw it away, there are high chances that you might also have it, because it's not done that way. When you come in contact with this virus, you take PEP medication, which is post exposure prophylaxis, and you are taking this medication for full 28 days. So it's not something you just take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and you just throw the drugs away. It's not done that way. So people that have partners that are HIV positive, there are ways that you can prevent yourself from not contacting this virus, because HIV is not a death sentence, you understand. People marry couples that people marry people that are not HIV and that are HIV positive. So if you form under such kind of categories, or maybe your partner has HIV and you want to end up with this person, you love this person, you want to end up with this person, HIV should not be the reason why you run away. There are different ways that you can protect yourself from contacting it. And one of the ways you can protect yourself from contacting it is to be consistent with your PreP medication. If you have a partner that is HIV positive, or maybe your husband or your wife is HIV positive and you yourself is negative, it shouldn't be the reason to break that marriage or to break that relationship. You can protect yourself by using PreP medication, and your partner needs to be consistent with their medication, because when they are consistent with their medication, their viral load is reduced, you understand. It's reduced in a way that it cannot be transmitted to you. So in this day and age, someone that is HIV positive should not prevent you from finding love, should not prevent you from, you know, if that person is good and everything match, the status of that person should not prevent you from getting married to that person, because you can protect yourself using PreP. You can take PreP. And those of you that has maybe you are not sure of your partner, or you have you don't like using protection during sexual intercourse, it is advisable you take PreP daily. And if you are those type of person that you like to change different ugusi, you would eat you eat egusi today, next week you want to eat okra, you want to taste okra from another old lady, and you don't have anything to protect yourself, my dear, go and buy PreP, keep it at home and be taking it. Because those ladies, those men you expose yourself to, you don't know their health status. I don't know how some persons will feel comfortable, exposing themselves to all kinds of danger. If you don't know the health status of someone, why will you go down on that person? There are HIV kits. You can buy a HIV kit and keep at home. It's not expensive. Even hepatitis has kits where you can easily test to know the health status of your partner. So before you go down, know their health status. It's very, very important. So as I was saying that when you take PreP medication consistently, like when you take this medication consistently and correctly, not like you take one tablet this week, next week you just take another tablet. In fact, you take it anyhow you want. You take it consistently, and if you're at risk of having HIV, maybe you have partners, your partner, you are sure of your partner is HIV positive, or maybe a healthcare worker, you're exposed to patients that are HIV positive, or maybe you are not sure at all, or you don't like using condom, one thing you should do for yourself is to take PreP. Yes, take PreP. And it's something you can take daily. You can take daily. When you take it correctly and consistently, it reduces risks of getting this infection about 90%. At least 90% is a good score. 90% is almost regarded as 100%, but just that it's not always 100% in the sense that you can still have it even with taking those PreP medication, but it reduces the risk of you having this HIV by 90% if you are consistent with taking it. You take it correctly. You don't take one tablet this week, next week you take another tablet. But if you are consistent in taking it daily, it reduces your risk of getting HIV. Because the reason why it's like this is HIV normally when it enters into your blood cells, it starts multiplying. But when you take this medication, the medication is already there, building immunity to this virus. So when the virus enters your body, it stops them from multiplying. It stops the HIV from multiplying, from establishing. You understand? So this is what the medication does. This PreP medication, it stops the virus from multiplying. Then for PEP, because some of you mistake this PreP and PEP, they are not the same. For post-exposure prophylaxis, then you have to understand that post-exposure prophylaxis is the one you take when you come in contact with the virus. For PreP is for people that are HIV negative. So when you see someone taking PreP medication, don't assume that the person is automatically HIV positive. How far? Someone is saying how far? I'm fine, hope I can see you. So don't assume that the person is automatically HIV positive. PreP is majorly for people that are HIV negative. PreP is majorly for people that are HIV negative. Why PEP is for people that has come in contact with the virus. You know very well that this person has HIV, and maybe you have unprotected intercourse with the person, unprotected sex with the person, or maybe a needle prick you, or maybe you any sharp object out and you're sure that such kind of object or has this thing, or maybe even if you are not sure, so they will give you this post-exposure prophylaxis, and it's a medication you take for 28 days. It's not something you take for just 3 days, because some persons, they do this mistake. They will just take it just for 1 or 2 or even 3 days and just leave it like that. Post-exposure prophylaxis, which is PEP, you don't take it for 3 days, you take it for full 28 days, so that this virus will not have chance to multiply. Then if you want to protect yourself and you're not sure of your partner, maybe you're the type that don't like using condom, or maybe you have a partner that is HIV positive and you don't want to expose yourself to this virus, the safest way you can do is to start taking PreP. Yes, you can take PreP daily. Unlike hepatitis has vaccine. HIV does not have vaccine. So hepatitis, you can take its vaccine, and the vaccine can last for 10 years, 15 years before you take again. So for hepatitis, how the vaccine works is that when you go to any healthcare center, that vaccine is free. It's not like it's expensive, just that people are not really aware of it. When you go to, I don't know about your country, but here in Nigeria, hepatitis vaccine is free. If they ask you to pay any money, it's not that outrageous, because last time I checked, maybe that was last year if I'm not mistaken, I went to my school health center and I asked them if they have this hepatitis vaccine. They said yes, they normally come every Wednesday or Thursday to vaccinate people for hepatitis B vaccine. So I was asking them how much will I pay for it. Was it 3,000 naira they called? I think it's 3,000 naira. So hepatitis B vaccine is free. It's not something you pay outrageous money for, and it's worth the price also, because this vaccine protects you from having this virus infection. Unlike unlike hepatitis that has vaccine, HIV, there is no vaccine for HIV yet. So the best way to prevent yourself from having HIV, particularly if you are maybe in a position of having this virus, is by taking PreP. Sorry about that. Is by taking PreP. For hepatitis, you can easily take the vaccine. How the vaccine is taken? The vaccine is taken for 3 consecutive times, like 3 times. You go the first month, they inject you. After 1 month, you come back again and you take the second dose. Now for the third dose, you come back 4 months after to take the third dose. When you take this injection, the injection can go for long as 10 years, 15 years before you take another dose of it. Then for PreP is something you take daily. If you have a HIV positive partner, that's not a death sentence, because thank God for research, thank God for technology where things are now advanced, unlike before. Sorry, let me get myself. So if you have if you have a HIV positive partner, it's not like it's maybe if you're in a marriage and it happens that your partner have HIV, um you still want to stay in the marriage. Thank God for technology. There are different ways to go about this. Firstly, if you don't want to contact this virus, you have to be on PreP medication every day. Daily is a daily medication. Then your partner has to be consistent with his own medication, his own HIV medication. Because if your partner is taking his or her medication correctly and consistently, the viral load will reduce to the point that he or she cannot transmit this virus to you. Understand? He or she cannot transmit this virus to you. And you yourself being on PreP medication also helps you not to get this virus, because when you take PreP consistently and correctly, you have about 90% reduced 90% chances of not getting this infection. This is because when you come in contact with this virus HIV and this medication is already on your body and you're taking it, your system will grow immunity. So when you come in contact with the virus, this, because of the medication you're taking, your body will tend to block this HIV from multiplying. You understand? It blocks it from multiplying and stop it from establishing. So that is how PreP works. So PreP is a medication you take daily to help to prevent HIV. So it helps to block this virus when it comes in contact with your body. Remember, when you take these drugs, your body already has built immunity. So when it comes in contact with it, it blocks it. So some person mistake PreP with PEP. They are not the same. So PEP is when you come in contact with this virus, like you are sure that this person have it, even if you are not sure, but it's like a post-exposure prophylaxis. You come in contact with the virus and you should be taken within 72 hours after exposure. The earlier you take the drugs, the better. And it's something you take for 28 days. You don't just take PEP just maybe 1 or 2 days and you relax yourself. No, take it for 28 days to help to make sure that everything clears up. There's no chance for HIV to multiply. So PrEP and PEP, that's pre-exposure prophylaxis and post-exposure prophylaxis, they are not the same. PrEP is for HIV negative people that don't want to get the virus. Maybe you have a partner that is HIV positive, or maybe you are not sure of your partner, or maybe you are someone that have multiple sexual partner, or you don't like using anything like protection. You can take PrEP. Then if you're a health worker and you normally, if you're a health worker, or maybe a needle prick, or in a form of sexual assault, you can go for post-exposure prophylaxis immediately, and it's within 72 hours after exposure. That's about 3 days. So if in a case of sexual assault, you don't just allow yourself like that, leave yourself like that. You run to the hospital, tell them, they will run you a test to know your stature. When they know your stature, then they administer. If maybe you are HIV negative, then they will give you this PrEP just to prevent the virus from multiplying, just in case if that person that person that assaulted you might have this virus also. So that is how it works. Think, let me give you another view. I don't know if this thing. Oh, So when it comes to PreP, you should know the difference. They are not really the same. PreP and PEP is not really the same. For hepatitis, at least you can take its vaccine. There are vaccines for hepatitis you can take that will help to prevent hepatitis, unlike HIV, where you will need to take PreP medication. So that's it. Need to change that position. So PreP medication, you take it daily. You take it daily. PreP and PEP is not the same. Post-exposure prophylaxis, you take it for 28 days. Post is for after you have come in contact with a virus. So you take it for 28 days. Take the medication for 28 days and you take it within 72 hours. That's about 3 days post-exposure. That's after exposure. Maybe you have unprotected cells and that person might have HIV. So maybe you have a needle prick, or in a case of sexual assault, you take these drugs for 28 days. While for PreP, is a drugs you take for daily, like daily. When you take PreP consistently, you take it correctly, you don't take one tablet this week, take another tablet next week, take another one next month. It's not how it's taken. If you have several sexual partners, or maybe you're not sure of your partner's status, or maybe you have a partner that you are sure of that have HIV, the best way to protect yourself is to take PreP. Because one thing about HIV, when it comes in contact in your body, it multiplies. That multiplication is where the issue starts from. So when you're already on PreP medication, this drugs already goes into your body and builds immunity. You understand? Builds immunity. So when you come in contact with the virus, it blocks the virus from multiplying. So the virus does not just act immediately. It blocks it from multiplying because you're already on the medication. So it's a medication you take daily, PreP medication, that pre-exposure prophylaxis. Then for post-exposure prophylaxis, it's a medication you take when you come in contact with the virus, and you take it within 72 hours after exposure. That's approximately about 3 days. And it's not something you just take 1 day or 2 days. It's something you take for 28 days. You take it consistently for 28 days. 28 days is just like almost a month, to make sure that you don't give HIV chance to, multiply. So you take it consistently like that for 28 days. So if maybe you are sexually assaulted, like someone assaulted you sexually, and you're not sure of the health status of the person, this day and age is not the time you risk your health. You don't risk your health like that. Some of you just go and take antibiotics like ampiclos and drink. It's not done that way. Go to the hospital, let them run you tests, because before they will give you this post-exposure prophylaxis, they will make sure that you don't have HIV already in your system. You don't have HIV already on your system. They will run you a test first to rule out that you don't have HIV. Then if they run you a test and you don't have HIV, then they can give you this post-exposure prophylaxis. So if maybe they assaulted you sexually, you don't have to just... I wonder how some girls behave or some persons behave in this day and age. Like, you are sexually assaulted and what you can think of is to go to any pharmacy and take ampiclos and you feel okay. Rush to the hospital. Make sure that you don't take chances, because you don't know the health status of such a person. Protect yourself first. I know it's not something that is kind of emotionally draining, but protect yourself first. So that is how it is for this PreP and PEP.